Maya Jensen pressed her key card against the reader and heard the soft beep that granted her access to the penthouse. The moment she stepped inside, she froze. Something felt different. The usual hum of the security system was absent, replaced by an eerie silence that made her skin prickle. "Mr. Cross," she called out, her voice echoing through the marble foyer. Nothing. She checked her phone, scrolling through her messages to confirm what she already knew. Damien Cross, the 35-year-old founder of Crosstech Industries, had left for Singapore yesterday morning. His assistant had sent her a detailed message: 4 weeks abroad, full access to the penthouse for deep cleaning, and a generous bonus for managing everything in his absence. Maya set down her cleaning supplies and walked through the sprawling apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of the Manhattan skyline, but she barely noticed any more. After 2 years of managing this place, the luxury had become just another backdrop to her daily routine. She'd been working since 5 that morning, starting with her other client across town before rushing here. Her entire body ached, and her clothes stuck to her skin despite the October chill outside. The ancient water heater in her Brooklyn apartment had finally given up yesterday, leaving her with only ice-cold showers until she could afford to replace it. Between her father's medical bills and her own rent, that replacement was at least 2 months away. Maya made her way to the master suite, planning to start there and work her way through the rest of the penthouse. When she pushed open the door, the sheer size of the room still took her breath away. The king-sized bed sat on a raised platform. The attached office space had better technology than most companies, and the bathroom. She stopped in the doorway, staring at the bathroom that looked like it belonged in a 5-star spa. Black marble, a rainfall shower with multiple jets, a separate soaking tub, heated floors. She'd cleaned this space countless times, maintaining its perfection for a man who probably took it all for granted. The thought crept in slowly, temptingly. She was alone. Completely alone. She was covered in grime and sweat from hours of scrubbing floors in her previous job. The water heater situation at home meant she'd been avoiding showers, making do with cold washcloths and dry shampoo. Just once, she could experience what it felt like to live like this, even if only for 10 minutes. Maya chewed her lip, her conscience warring with exhaustion and desperate need. She'd never done anything like this before. She prided herself on her professionalism, her integrity. But surely it wouldn't hurt anyone? She'd clean up after herself, use her own towel, leave no trace. Before she could change her mind, she locked the bedroom door. Her fingers trembled as she unbuttoned her work uniform, letting the sweat-dampened fabric fall to the floor. She avoided looking at herself in the massive mirror, knowing she'd look as exhausted as she felt. Instead, she focused on the shower controls, figuring out the digital interface until water began cascading from above. When she stepped under the spray, Maya actually gasped. The temperature was perfect, the pressure like a massage from heaven itself. She let the water pound against her sore shoulders, washing away the dirt and fatigue of the day. Steam rose around her, creating a cocoon of warmth and comfort. She reached for what she assumed was body wash, some designer brand in a minimalist bottle, and the scent of sandalwood and citrus enveloped her. This was how the other half lived, she thought. This casual extravagance that Damien probably never even thought about. Maya tilted her head back, letting the water run through her dark hair, pretending just for a moment that this was her life. That she was the kind of woman who belonged in places like this, instead of the one who cleaned them. She was so lost in the sensation that she didn't hear the front door open. She didn't hear the sound of a suitcase being dropped in the foyer, or the frustrated curse of someone whose international flight had been cancelled after sitting on the runway for 3 hours. She didn't hear anything until the bathroom door swung open. Through the steam, Maya saw him. Damien Cross stood frozen in the doorway, his suit jacket slung over one shoulder, his dark hair disheveled, looking absolutely shocked. Their eyes met. For one endless moment, neither of them moved. Then reality crashed down on Maya like ice water. She was naked in her employer's shower, and he was staring right at her. She screamed. Damien spun around instantly, his hand flying up to cover his eyes. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know anyone was here. The alarm was off and I thought, I just got back in." Maya's heart hammered so hard she thought she might faint. "Please don't look. Please just go." Her voice cracked with panic. "I'll get dressed and leave immediately. I'm so sorry, Mr. Cross. I know there's no excuse." "Wait, no." Damien kept his back turned, already walking toward the door. "Just get dressed. Meet me in the kitchen. We'll talk. You're not going anywhere." The door closed behind him with a firm click. Maya stood under the still running water, shaking uncontrollably. This was it. Her career was over. The best job she'd ever had, gone because she couldn't resist one stupid shower. Her father's treatment, her rent, everything depended on this income. She forced herself to move, turning off the water and wrapping herself in a towel. Her uniform felt disgusting going back on, but she dressed quickly, not bothering with her soaked hair. In the mirror, she looked like exactly what she was, someone who'd just been caught doing something unforgivable. The walk down to the kitchen felt like walking to her execution. Each step echoed in the vast apartment, counting down to her humiliation. Damien stood by the counter, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes that she'd never noticed before. When he saw her, he gestured to a bar stool. "Sit. Please." Maya perched on the edge, ready to bolt. Her hands twisted together in her lap. "Mr. Cross, I cannot apologize enough. I have no excuse for what I did. I know it was completely inappropriate and I understand if you want me to leave right now. I've never done anything like this before. I was just, the heat, and I've been working since dawn, and my water heater broke, and I thought you were gone, and I know none of that makes it right, Maya." His voice cut through her rambling. "Stop." She finally looked up at him. His eyes, she'd never really noticed they were such a deep brown, almost black, studied her face with an intensity that made her breath catch. "I'm not firing you," he said simply. Maya blinked. "You're not?" "No." He ran a hand through his hair, making it stick up in a way that was almost endearing. "Look, I'm not going to pretend that wasn't incredibly awkward. But I also recognize that I've never thought about what it's like to work here. This place is huge. You manage it alone. And today you've been here since dawn in this heat, right?" She nodded slowly, not trusting herself to speak. "So you wanted a shower. I get it." He paused, something shifting in his expression. "I should have ensured you had proper facilities. There's a staff bathroom, but it's nothing like, well. That's on me. That's very generous, but it doesn't change what I did. I also walked in without announcing myself," he interrupted. "I could have called out. Instead, I just barged into my own bathroom like I owned the place. Which, technically, I do, but that's beside the point." Was he actually trying to make her feel better? Maya studied his face, searching for anger or disgust, but found only fatigue and something else she couldn't identify. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. Damien set down his glass. "Now we forget this happened. You keep working here. I'll try to be more considerate of your needs. And we both agree the master bathroom is off limits unless I specifically say otherwise. Deal?" "Deal," Maya whispered, hardly believing it. "And Maya?" He met her eyes again. "When it's just us, call me Damien. Mr. Cross makes me feel ancient." She managed a small smile. "Okay. Damien." Something passed between them in that moment, a connection that hadn't existed before. For the first time since she'd started working here, he actually saw her. Not as the invisible woman who maintained his home, but as a person. A real person who'd been terrified of losing everything over one human mistake. Why don't you take the rest of the day off, he suggested. You've done more than enough. Are you sure? Positive. He pulled out his wallet and handed her several bills. Take a cab. It's too hot for the subway. Maya stared at the money, then back at him. You're really not what I expected. Neither are you, Damien replied, and there was something in his voice that made her pulse quicken. As Maya left, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything had changed. Damien had seen her at her most vulnerable, and instead of punishing her, he'd shown her kindness. More than that, the way he'd looked at her, really looked at her, had awakened something she knew was dangerous. But as she rode home in the air-conditioned cab, touching her still damp hair, Maya couldn't help wondering if maybe, just maybe, something impossible might be possible after all. The following weeks were different. Damien said good morning now and waited for her response. He asked if she needed anything, if the supplies were adequate, if she was comfortable. The invisible wall between employer and employee had developed cracks. 3 weeks after the incident, Damien appeared while Maya was dusting the living room. Do you ever take a lunch break? She straightened, tucking hair behind her ear. I usually grab something quick in the kitchen. That's not a break. He loosened his tie. Join me for lunch. I ordered too much Thai food. It became their routine. Every day at noon, they'd sit at the kitchen island with takeout from different restaurants, and they'd talk. Really talk. Damien told her about the pressure of running a tech empire, about board meetings where everyone wanted a piece of him, about how he couldn't remember the last time someone had a conversation with him that didn't involve stock prices or acquisitions. Maya shared stories about growing up in a small Pennsylvania town, about her father's battle with Parkinson's, about working her way through community college while supporting her family. You're the first person in years who treats me like a regular human, Damien admitted one afternoon. Everyone else either wants my money or wants to use me for connections. You just want to do your job well. Is that so strange? Maya asked. In my world? Yes. He looked at her with those dark eyes that seemed to see through every defense she'd built. You're different, Maya. You work harder than anyone I know without complaining. You're kind without expecting anything in return. You're real. The air between them felt charged, electric. Maya knew she should look away, should remind herself of the impossible distance between their worlds, but she couldn't. Damien started working from home more often, finding reasons to be in whatever room she was cleaning. He'd ask about her life, her dreams, her opinions on everything from politics to her favorite books. He began leaving small gifts, new work shoes when he noticed hers were worn, a gift card to a nice restaurant, a beautiful scarf when the weather turned cold. You don't have to do this, Maya told him one evening, holding a box containing an expensive winter coat. I want to, Damien replied firmly. Let me. 2 months after the shower incident, everything shifted again. Maya was leaving late after organizing Damien's home office when the sky opened up. Rain pounded against the windows in sheets, and thunder rumbled overhead. You can't go out in this, Damien said, appearing in the doorway. Stay. There are guest rooms. I don't think that's appropriate, Maya. He stepped closer. It's just a guest room. I'm not going to let you travel across the city in a storm like this. She stayed at midnight, unable to sleep in the unfamiliar luxury. Maya wandered to the kitchen for water. She found Damien there, standing by the window in sweatpants and a t-shirt, watching the storm. Couldn't sleep either, he asked without turning around. Too quiet, she admitted. My apartment is never this quiet. He turned to face her then, and the look in his eyes made her breath catch. Maya, I need to tell you something. What? I can't stop thinking about you. The words tumbled out. I know it's wrong. I know there's a million reasons why this is a terrible idea. But ever since that day, I can't get you out of my head. The way you work so hard for your family, the way you laugh at my stupid jokes, the way you see me as just Damien, not the CEO or the money or the status. Maya's heart pounded. Damien, you don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know. He started to turn away. Wait. Maya crossed the kitchen, closing the distance between them. I think about you too. All the time. I know I shouldn't, but I do. Damien's hand came up to cup her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. Tell me to stop. I can't, she whispered. He kissed her then, soft and tentative at first, then deeper as she melted against him. His arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her close, and Maya's fingers tangled in his hair. The kiss was everything she'd imagined and nothing like she'd expected, urgent and gentle, desperate and careful all at once. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Damien rested his forehead against hers. This changes everything, he murmured. I know, Maya said. I'm scared. Me too. He pulled her close again. But I think you're worth being scared for. They stood there in the kitchen, holding each other as the storm raged outside, both knowing they'd crossed a line they could never uncross. And neither of them wanted to go back. The next few weeks existed in a bubble. Damien and Maya kept their relationship secret, stealing moments between her work duties, kisses in the hallway, quiet dinners after she'd officially left for the day, whispered conversations that stretched into dawn. I want to tell people, Damien said one evening as they sat together on his balcony. Maya tensed. That's not a good idea. Why not? I'm not ashamed of you. Maybe you should be. The words came out sharper than she intended. I'm your housekeeper, Damien. People will say I'm using you, or you're taking advantage of me, or, I don't care what people say. You will, Maya said quietly. When it affects your business, your reputation. When people start talking. As if summoning trouble with her words, everything fell apart the next week. Victoria Ashford arrived unannounced on a Tuesday morning, sweeping into the penthouse like she owned it. The former supermodel and current hotel heiress had been Damien's fiancée 3 years ago, before an ugly breakup that made tabloid headlines. Damien, darling, Victoria purred, kissing both his cheeks. I'm back from Paris. We need to talk about the gala. Maya, who'd been organizing the library, felt her stomach drop as she watched through the doorway. Victoria was everything Maya wasn't, tall, blonde, polished, belonging to Damien's world in a way Maya never could. Over the next week, Victoria became a constant presence. She'd show up for breakfast meetings, invite herself to stay for dinner, casually mention their shared history and mutual friends. And she watched Maya with calculating eyes. Your housekeeper is quite pretty, Victoria mentioned one evening as Maya served coffee. You should be careful, darling. These women develop such inappropriate attachments to their employers. Maya's hands shook as she set down the tray. Victoria, that's enough, Damien said sharply, but the seed was planted. Everything came to a head at a business dinner Damien hosted. Maya was helping coordinate the catering when she overheard Victoria in the study, talking with Marcus Chen, Damien's business partner. I'm concerned about Damien, Victoria said. He's been distracted lately. Making poor decisions. I think that housekeeper of his is manipulating him. You know how these gold diggers operate. You think there's something going on? Marcus asked. I know there is. I've seen the way she looks at him. The way he looks at her. It's going to be a scandal if this gets out. Can you imagine? Tech billionaire sleeping with the help. It'll destroy his reputation and the company's stock. Maya fled to the bathroom, her vision blurring with tears. She'd been fooling herself. This could never work. She didn't belong in Damien's world, and trying to be part of it would only hurt him. Later that evening, after the guests had left, Maya found Damien in his office. We need to talk, she said. He looked up, smiling until he saw her face. What's wrong? This. Us. It was a mistake. Maya, I heard Victoria tonight. She's right. This is going to become a scandal. People will think I'm using you, that you're taking advantage of me. It'll hurt your business, your reputation. Everything you've built. I don't care about any of that. Damien stood, reaching for her. Maya stepped back. But I do. I care about you too much to let you destroy everything for someone who doesn't fit in your life. You fit perfectly in my life, I don't. The words burst out. I clean houses for a living, Damien. I can barely pay my bills. I don't know which fork to use at fancy dinners. I don't have the right clothes or the right education or the right anything. And I won't watch you lose everything because of me. So what are you saying? Maya forced the words out, each one like swallowing glass. I'm saying this was beautiful, but it's over. I'll finish out this week, then I'm resigning. Maya, please, I'm sorry, she whispered, and left before he could see her cry.